Alright, so today our group has decided to present our project on Nikola. This is by Bradley Campbell, Ethan Oliver, and Joe Hansen. Now, starting off, what is Nikola? I'm sure most of you have never heard of this company, nor have I before this project. Nikola is a company that was founded in 2014 by Trevor Milton and is situated in Salt Lake City, Utah. This is a company that is striving to have zero emissions and is competing against Tesla. Now, if anybody knows the person who both these companies are named after, you'd know that it is pretty similar. Nikola Tesla is what both companies are named after, and a lot of people find that quite funny. This became a company in 2014, and they strive to create hydrogen and electric powered vehicles, which differentiates it from Tesla, and creating large interest from multiple companies. Now, whenever the company became publicly traded in June of 2020, stocks went crazy for this company, up to just about $92, $93 per share, which is pretty high for a new company, creating Trevor Milton to be a billionaire overnight. Now here's a short video we have showing.
What's your number? TireCraft will help keep you on the road longer. Get up to a $100 Visa prepaid card when you buy a select set of
Alright, so that was the Nikola 1, and that was presented in 2016 and said to start production in 2020. That was Nikola's first introduction to the semi-truck market and to compete against Tesla. Now, General Motors and Nikola, this was a huge combination that nobody saw coming. GM would gain 11% of Nikola and seat one person on the board, meaning that they would gain control of what decisions are made through Nikola and having further understanding, giving them more knowledge and helping guide Nikola. Now, this deal would be equivalent to $2 billion in equity, which is crazy amount of money for 11%. Nikola would gain the powertrain needed to produce all products. So GM basically produces the cells and the batteries, and they're just taking them off their assembly line and giving them to Nikola, meaning that GM doesn't really lose anything, doesn't cost them anything because they're already producing it. Now, GM will help produce the Nikola Badger, which was a truck. We'll go back, seen in the bottom right corner here. It is said to be a 900 horsepower super truck, and it is a pretty cool looking truck, if I do say so myself. Now, one of the big things about the deal is that if anything were to happen to Nikola, if they were to go corrupt or go under or whatever, GM would gain full access to their facilities and everything that they own. So really, GM got a good deal on this one. Now, 2 days after this deal was signed with this company that nobody had heard of, everything went corrupt when an article was leaked. Now, this article claimed that Nikola was full of lies, and are they true? Yeah, they were pretty true. The Nikola 1, who was stated to be a fully functional truck, as seen in that video that we shown, it was rolling down the hill, looked perfectly functional, hauling a trailer, pretty cool. Well, that really didn't happen. That truck was towed to the top of a hill and let roll down so that they could get that video. One other thing is this photo that we have shown in the top right corner shows the truck on the stand with all the lights on, and at that press conference, Trevor Milton stated this is a fully functional truck. Well, if you look at the back first wheel on the right, you can see a little cord running up the stage, and that was because there was no hydrogen power on board this truck. No electric power. The truck couldn't power itself. It was all lies.
As Bradley just introduced, Nikola was a very new company in the world of zero emissions. And even just when talking about producing vehicles, they hadn't had much, if any, experience before pouring millions and millions of dollars into this company. Trevor Milton, the then CEO, had a plan for his company, which in all of our minds was to produce a new truck that could revolutionize how effective zero emissions trucks can be and even compete with the gas trucks. But his vision was just to get rich quick, and he tried to do just that. On the surface, Nikola appears to be a revolutionary company in the field of zero emissions vehicles. However, they are not what they appear. To the media and what most people had thought, Nikola was a company attempting to compete with Tesla when creating one of these zero emissions trucks. They first started with their new fully electric 18-wheeler, looking to replace all the gas trucks used around the world. They started developing the new vehicle, and to the media, it appeared that they were doing a very good job, and they were quickly developing and almost ready to produce their new invention. They held a conference to unveil this new truck, stating multiple times it was fully functional and ready to go, almost being road ready. A large company who owns Budweiser, Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, and many other alcoholic beverages had agreed to purchase 800 of these trucks in an attempt to cut down on the fuel costs, but to also help with the goal of having zero emissions vehicles on the road. They purchased the truck based on the unveiling, since they were led to believe the trucks were fully functional, as Mr. Milton stated many times. These statements, however, were incorrect, as the truck was nowhere near in working order and not even close to being road ready. At the conference, there was one of these trucks on the stage for the media and investors to come take a look at. However, tucked behind one of the tires that you couldn't see from the viewing area was a cord going from underneath the stage into the truck. This cord was proven to be what was sending all the power and electricity to the truck, and that the truck was not fully functional or could not hold a charge. Trevor Milton, who at that time was CEO of Nikola, lied, stating he had never said the truck was fully functional, and that only certain parts of the truck were fully functional, which proved to be another lie. Unfortunately, this is not the only time Nikola lied about the functionality of their truck. There was a video that was made by Nikola showing the 18-wheeler being driven down the road, making everyone, including potential investors, believe that the truck is ready to go. This, however, was another lie conspired by Trevor Milton. The truck at this time was still not functional, and to make this video, they ended up having to use a tow truck and towing the Nikola truck all the way up to the top of a hill. They then put the truck into neutral and let it roll down the hill, giving the illusion to its customers it was being driven. At first glance, anyone viewing the video would believe it to be real, and it wasn't until much, much later on that the truth came out about the truck being rolled. Lying doesn't seem to be the only problem Nikola has in their company. There was also a business executive who was caught using the company credit card to purchase female escorts. However, the problems I just stated are nowhere near the worst. 2 women came forward claiming that they were sexually assaulted by Trevor Milton in 1999 and 2004. When the women were only 15 years old, and one of them being Trevor Milton's own cousin. Up to this point, Milton continues to deny these accusations, though it was confirmed that in 1999 there was a complaint made about Milton when he was just 17 years old. As you can see, there is a lot that Nikola has done to hurt the reputation and lie to investors. Although they currently are still negotiating a deal with GM, who is known as a juggernaut in the automobile industry, there is no telling what is going to happen next, or if this deal will ever go through. They had struck a deal sometime before where GM would get 11% of Nikola. In exchange, GM was going to supply some key components for their new truck. However, after the truth came out and Nikola was proven to be lying the entire time, GM decided that they wanted to renegotiate the deal. They were looking for a much higher stake in the company to make the risk worth their while. There are ways that Nikola can start repairing their reputation, but it will take time, and the first step will be removing Trevor Milton as CEO.
Alright, the next part we're going to talk about is how Nikola can begin solving their issues with the public and the current deal they have with General Motors. One of the main problems that Nikola is being hated on right now is their lack of production for the amount of statements they've released to the public about their products. A step in the right direction for the company could be simple as something as following through with the ideas and plans they have to manufacture and produce an actual product rather than promoting their products that are not yet in the making. For example, the hydrogen truck that you can see in the bottom left corner has been catching the public's attention and has only been used a handful of times on the road. They've already been caught using a fake truck on the stage during one of their presentations where the truck was plugged into an outlet underneath the stage so that it could receive power for the lights and dash to turn on. They've also had fake hydrogen stickers put on that same truck. So the hydrogen truck could be a real change to the world and economy. Dealing with something as efficient as hydrogen vehicles, the truck really does submit zero emissions, as the only thing released from the vehicle would be water vapor into the air. Obviously, this will come with an expensive price tag. However, when the two manufacturers can figure out a way to make these vehicles come to the market, they should have a lot of attention, especially carrying the name General Motors along with them. Finding a way to reduce the price that these vehicles would cost and waiting for fuel companies or gas stations to accommodate to these changes will be a crucial step in the success of Nikola Corporation. Also, the false statements that the public are finding out about will have to come to a stop at some point because it's only hurting both companies' reputations, which I'm sure GM is not a fan of. For a discussion question, we've decided that including both companies would be beneficial, considering the fact that GM is playing a major role in the support of Nikola. With that being said, our question is, should GM back out of the deal with Nikola? We determined that throughout our research of this dilemma that it would be best for GM to remain partners and continue supporting Nikola. As we said previously, GM will receive 11% ownership in the company if they successfully manufacture these vehicles. On the downside of things for Nikola, if they fail, GM will gain full ownership of their company and Nikola will no longer exist. Now, there's a lot of potential in the deal between these two, and Nikola needs to get back on track. As a way to help this company make a comeback to stay in the zero emissions market, holding a press conference where reporters can drill them with questions may be a great idea. The public, but mainly investors, can find out the truth and determine whether this company will be successful. Nikola will get the chance to own up to their mistakes and possibly have a positive change in their reputation, which doesn't seem to be happening quite often. To end things off, we'd like to mention how this relates to our business ethics course. We think that our scandal relates to multiple sections we've learned about this year, but the one that we thought is best is the week where we discuss corporations. As one of the discussion questions that week was, is it possible for a corporation to be unethical? And as a response, of course it's possible for a corporation to be unethical. We can almost say that Nikola themselves is acting unethical in ways that has hurt their reputation as a zero-emission company and their stock price in the past. This also relates to a broader category that is involved in basically every business deal, where the both sides are helping each other rather than one side pulling out of the deal or trying to win against the person they're dealing with. In this case, Nikola is being helped and invested in by GM and is currently in the middle of sort of letting them down in the deal, even though GM receives partial or full ownership anyway. Thank you for listening to our presentation, and we would be happy to answer any questions.